things are good. Beautiful day outside. A little chilly, but sunny.
Not as chilly as it is up here in Canada, let me tell you.
Oh, man.
Have you ever come up here to shoot anything? Have you worked in Canada? Was X-Files in Canada?
X-Files was not in Canada when I was doing it. Yes, I have shot in Canada, and mostly, I believe, in Vancouver. I shot Texas Rangers, the movie, in Calgary.
Oh, yeah.
And I shot a movie in Regina.
Yeah. Oh, you've been all over. You've been in the prairie lands.
Yeah, I've been there, and Vancouver mostly, I think, though. I haven't shot in Toronto, but my wife's my wife's father lives in
Oh, crazy. Well, you got to come up and visit sometime.
Yeah. Are you in Toronto?
I am, yes. At the moment, yeah.
Yeah. That's my wife's family is originally from that area.
That's fantastic. Well, tell her we say hi. I guess I don't know what to say to that.
Well, I will.
Okay. Let's just get into this. Let's start with Identity Thief, because it seems like you're constantly working. You seem to have something. If you're not on TV, you're in the theaters. Like, it's just consistent, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Great. I'm very happy with my career, and very happy with the amount of work I have right now. There's nothing worse than being an actor that doesn't have a job.
Yeah, well, I hear you. I know all too well sometimes. Identity Thief, though. So who is... I don't know who Skip Tracer is, so why don't we start with that?
Okay, well, Skip Tracer is it's actually an occupation. It's kind of like a low-grade bounty hunter. It's a guy that is hired by credit companies to go after people that have skipped out on credit cards and bills that they haven't paid. And he's sort of a collector, like a bill collector kind of a guy, but he'll actually go and he'll abduct people and bring them back to whoever it is that's got a lien on them. And so he's a bit of a survivalist. He's an ex-military guy, and Melissa McCarthy's character has stolen the identity of Jason Bateman's character, and Jason has decided, because the police won't really do anything about that, Jason has decided to take matters into his own hands, and he travels down to Florida to find this person. He does, and he gets her first, and is oblivious to the fact that I'm also on her tail, and then I steal her from him, and he's after me and her, and it's really funny.
Do you get to play things a little more comedically with this role?
Do I get to what? I'm sorry?
Do you get to play things a little more comedically, or it sounds like it's still kind of a straight, hard-nosed kind of character?
Yeah, I play it straight, which is what you do with comedy anyway. You just play it straight, but it's all the situations are funny. And, a lot of the dialogue I have is funny, and hopefully the audiences will think it's funny,
What drew you to the role? How come you're an identity thief?
Because I wanted to be in a funny movie with some funny actors, and people. A lot of the roles I do, they forget that I can do comedy. I did striptease with Demi Moore and Burt Reynolds back in the day, and I've done a few comedies, and I want to do more. And I like being in successful movies, and that's what, I when I sat down and talked to Seth Gordon and the director, I said, geez, I just want to be funny, man. I want to be in a funny movie. Make me funny, dude.
You're talking about being in a lot of successful movies. Well, you have been, but even Sundance last week, like Loveless seems to be one of the big ones coming out of Sundance.
Yeah, it's been a good role. I've had a great, as far as movies, it started right around when I did Safe House with Denzel Washington, and then we did Dave Mansfield's Car with Bobby Duvall and Billy Bob Thornton, and then I did Trouble with the Curve with Clint Eastwood and John Goodman and Matthew Lillard and Amy Adams. Mm-hmm. And it was while I was down there filming Trouble with the Curve, I met with Seth Gordon. And then somewhere in there, I think it was right after we finished Gangster Squad. I remember I was on the set of Gangster Squad, and my agent called me and said that they were interested in me to play Linda Lovelace's father, and I was encouraged to take a look at the script and see if I wanted to do it. And when I read the script and thought about Amanda Seyfried playing Linda, I was very enthusiastic. It's a very, very tragic story. It's a sad story. I could really relate to the father character. He was a military guy. He was a New York City cop, Catholic, and he thought he had raised his daughter one way, and then lo and behold, she becomes, the world famous, the most famous porn star in the history of porn. Mm. And what kind of an effect that was, what kind of an effect that had on him. And, I could relate to that in my own life. I mean, I have a daughter, and, these are things you want to try to keep your daughter from ever being exposed to. And
I was going to say, how do you relate to that? That would be...
Well, I mean, as a human being, as a man, I mean, I don't think you really... If you're a father, I don't think you really have aspirations for your daughter to grow up to be a porn star. I don't think any. I don't know. I don't know anybody that has.
No, I see what you're saying. I was just thinking
aspirations for their daughters. So from that point of view, that's how I related to it. How would that affect me?
And how So how do you prepare for a role then? How do you prepare to go into that? Do you talk with fathers who have?
I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I'm not a Catholic. I'm Episcopalian. So I can understand where John Borman's coming from a religious point of view. I've played military guys, so I understand their point of view. I've played cops, so I understand their point of view. And just being around men in general and in those kinds of environments, how would that affect you if your daughter, in fact, grew up with a porn star? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it was the 1970s, and it was devastating for the guy. But even more so, the reality is that he loved his daughter, and he still loves his daughter, and he feels as if he failed her somehow. What did I do? I'm wondering if there's something that I did to cause this to happen. Because I don't know who that is up there. And it was a devastating character to relate to from all those points of views and all that I was telling you that helped me play this guy. I can't wait to see the film. I haven't seen it, so I'm basing it on the scenes and what I remember doing in the scenes. But I had a really great relationship with Amanda. There was, genuine, chemistry, father-daughter sort of a relationship that was very, very real, very quickly.
Are there things you do with her when you meet her for the first time to get that relationship going? Do you hang out offset and treat her like a daughter kind of thing?
Well, that's a very good question. And no, you meet each other and you just hope that it's going to be that way. You know what I mean? You just kind of have to go into it with, I wonder what kind of a person she is, and I hope I can relate to her. And she was, and she is, and she's still a friend. And, it was very easy for me to want to protect her and, very easy for me to relate to her as a daughter.
Being married to Sharon Stone isn't half bad either, I would think.
No, being married to Sharon Stone was sort of a great thing. I mean, Jesus, I've had a crush on her for years. I mean, I'm a very happily married guy, but a very happily heterosexual and a very, very attractive lady.
One of the perks of the business, I suppose.
Yeah, one of the perks of the business, and it was certainly one of the highlights, and something I'll definitely always remember. She was great to work with. Sharon is a tremendous actress. The two of us have some wonderful scenes together. And she has another whole completely different dynamic with Amanda than I do. Much tougher with her relationship with Amanda, without getting into their story too much. But
sure.
but I'm very, very excited to see the movie. I love Amanda. I think she's just a terrific actress. I mean, she's incredible in Les Miserables, and just did a wonderful job. She has such a beautiful singing voice. I was corresponding with her. I'd seen that movie, and she really blew me away in that. So I can't wait to see Lovely.
So when would you see it? Do you watch your films, or is it just kind of at the premiere you go see it and then you're good?
Well, hopefully I can see us. Hopefully I can see the movie before the premiere, so I'm not shocked by what I see. I kind of like to see it before the premiere, so I know what I'm talking about if I'm talking to the press.
Sure.
But I don't like to see it more than once or twice. I think Gangster Squad, I saw it 3 times.
Oh, interesting.
I like to see what I kind of like to see what I did at least once, so I have an idea of did I achieve what I was setting out to do in that particular goal, particular scene. Did I accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, and how they edit the film, and what takes did they use, and there's a lot of things that go into filmmaking. It's not.
That's so interesting you say that. I spoke to Stephen Bishop about Safe House a couple of years ago when I was in LA, and his scene was basically almost entirely cut out. So it must be interesting for you as an actor. You work so hard sometimes to prep a scene, to prep a role, and then parts of it you just never see the light of day. Is that frustrating, or is that just a part of the biz you just get used to?
Well, let me go back to your question. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but are you talking about Safe House, the movie I was in?
Yeah. With
Stephen Bishop? What did he play in that?
He played a guard. He ends up in the film. The only scene he ends up that is shown is him taking a picture of Denzel after, I guess, you guys go in and extract him. But I guess he had a fight scene with Denzel that got completely cut out.
Oh, I know. He's the baseball player.
Baseball player, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. Well, let me see how I can comment on this. I remember him, and he's a great guy. And if I'm not mistaken, he was at the premiere, and that's when he found out the stuff was cut.
Exactly. So I'm
and that's what I'm saying. You want to see the movie before the premiere, so you know what's up there.
Is it frustrating though, as a performer, when the scenes get cut, or is that just something that it's part of the biz, so you just let it go?
It's part of the business. You got to let it go. I mean, I can see, depending on where you are with your career, when you're young and you're getting started, and you think everything you do is pretty precious, and you want it all to be up there on film, but that's kind of just from your own point of view. The movie making. The art form of making the movie is, all the information is gathered. That's all the film that you shoot. That's the information. The movie's actually made in the editing.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that I'm not impervious to, being affected when one of the scenes that I think is one of my best scenes is not in the movie. I mean, that just happened to me with, a scene that I did with, Kevin Bacon in the movie I did with Bobby Duvall and Billy Bob Thornton. And there's not much you can do. I mean, you go, wow, okay, that cut. And, damn, I thought that was a damn good scene. Your mind starts to wonder why. But you have to look at the big picture. Go, did it in fact serve the story? Does it help tell the story? And I learned early on, I mean, there was some great scenes that I did in Terminator 2 way back 25 years ago that never made it to the movie. And you just have to realize that there's some stuff that they may shoot, and, they fully intend to have it in the movie, but when it comes down to it, they don't need it. And you have to kind of keep that in mind that it's all about the storytelling. Some things don't make it, some things do. And it's easy to say, as long as you don't have shit cut out. But if you got something that gets cut out, I mean, yeah, you're going to be pissed off and go like, fuck, I only had 2 scenes in in the movie, and one of them got cut. You know, I mean that hurts.
You're talking about storytelling there, and I'm wondering. I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but you're saying things and it's triggering my mind, right. So I'm going to go to it. Just with David Mamet in the unit, is reading Mamet's words. Is it as good as I hear it is? When you see that script and those words, you know you get to speak those words. Is there something as an actor when you see that script that you're just completely mesmerized and flabbergasted that these words can come out of somebody's mind?
Yes, you are. You read it and the guy's just amazing with dialogue, and then you realize that you've got to learn it. And his dialogue is fantastic when you can get in the rhythm and learn it, and learn it and actually get out there and perform it. But there's a trick to it, and you gotta work at it. And there's nothing better than having great dialogue. I mean, Jesus, it's the worst thing. It's easy to make great dialogue sound good. It's really difficult to make crappy dialogue sound good. You know what I mean?
Does playing a character like that for 4 years allow you to? Do you feel more comfortable with it? Like, I mean, you've jumped around from film to TV, so playing a character for a season, playing a character for a couple of years, playing a character for just a month or two in a film. Are you more comfortable as those years progress? Like, do you find a rhythm that you just? Is there a typical, I don't know, like 20 episodes in that you feel that rhythm and you're at the peak?
Yes. When you play a character on television, you just have to look at it as a long, prolonged movie. I mean, you're basically playing the same character, over 40, 50 episodes, whatever it is, and you really get to know that character really well, and each week you're presented with a whole new, bunch of situations that character has to live through, and you can sort of take over the dialogue and really imprint yourself on the dialogue as the dialogue affecting you. You know what I'm saying? You've got longer. You've spent more time with the character. So you know the character better than anybody else.
Does it become second nature? You know where that character is going to go?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's not like you know where the writer's going to take that character.
Yeah.
It's like you know how that character would react.
Exactly.
Better, and the writers, if they're good writers, they can see where you can take that character, and they're in sync with you. And I've had the great fortune of my television work as primarily my series work has all been with terrific writers, starting with David Chase and the Sopranos,
mm-hmm.
Sean Ryan and David Mamet in the Unit, Chris Carter, Frank Spotnitz on the X-Files, and again, Sean Ryan and Carl Kajizak for Last Resort that we were just doing. And I found that all those guys, once they kind of realized that, I embody the character, and they're pretty convinced that they've hired the right actors, that they have fun just putting me in different situations and can and wait to see how I'm going to interpret that and what I'm going to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that must be fun for you. That must be awesome.
Yeah, no, and that's very gratifying, and I'm not kind of actor that comes in and tries to change things. I really like to work with the writer and trust the fact that the writer is going to be able to provide everything I need for the portrayal and of that character. And so I really do trust in them, and I haven't really been steered wrong that way. And now, as a matter of fact, the television show I'm doing right now, I'm just having a ball playing Jackson Harvo on True Blood.
You sang that for me. That's where I was going to go. Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Alan Ball created that, and he's a terrific writer. And I mean, he's just writing some great stuff for me. And I'm just excited where this character is going to go, and having fun playing a werewolf, and I've never really had a showdown. The only time I've really ever had a showdown with somebody over dialogue is a movie that I'm doing where it's really not that well written, or the character's not that well written, and I've had to bring in somebody and work on the dialogue and try to take you try to polish a turd. Basically, you're just you got to work real hard on trying to elevate a project, and but those aren't the projects we're here to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why I brought them up.
No, it's all good. We'll go back to True Blood. So you guys are working on. So I assume you've started shooting now.
Huh?
I assume you've already started shooting True Blood for this year, or for next season, I guess.
Oh yes, we started. We got one episode down as soon as Last Resort. When ABC canceled Last Resort, I was very fortunate that HBO offered me a season regular for this particular season. So we're all signed in, and we're going to be working on this till June or July, I guess.
Are you allowed to say anything about True Blood? Like, can I?
I'm a werewolf.
You're a werewolf. Okay, so we got that. And
a werewolf, baby.
That's got to be fun. There's got to be character. How do you prepare to play a werewolf? Do you watch Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, so I prefer the Teen Wolf with Jason Bateman.
Oh yes, of course you would. Yes, obviously. I'm sorry.
I just ran into Michael J. Fox at the Golden Globes, and I should have asked him. I should have said I should have get some werewolves. The funny thing is, I'm asking my son, Joe Manganiello. I asked him quite a bit. So what do we do when we shift? How does that work? What do you do? What are you thinking? And he's kind of helping me out.
Okay. What else did I want to talk about?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the questions I ask myself. Jesus, what do I do? How does that work? Everybody's very. There's like another whole little level of jargon involved with HBO. You got. With True Blood, where you got. The vampires. They have their way that they flash their fangs, and the werewolves have the way that they shift and all that.
I want to talk about the Uso Tour real quick too before I let you, because we've been talking for a while. So you've been doing this for a while. What do you do on the Uso Tour? Do you just go and speak to the soldiers? What do you do out there?
I sing, I dance, I sell jokes, like Bob Hope. I'm just like Bob Hope.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And make bets with the troops, and I challenge them to all sorts of physical challenges. Like, I bet you I can do more push-ups than you can. Here's $100 because I can do more.
Have you ever beaten them?
I induce them to all sorts of track events. Like, can you run up to that perimeter post out there on the outside of Pakistan before I do? All sorts of crazy shit.
Have you ever won one of those challenges?
I've given out a lot of $100 bills.
That's good.
But in all seriousness, I just really go there. The troops, they have a lot of downtime, and they watch a lot of stuff, and they've watched a lot of the unit, and they watch a lot of movies, and they're obviously big Terminator fans, and they're more. What they get out of it is the fact that I would take the time to fly there to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just hang out with them. You know what I mean? And, we really just more or less, we just do that. We just go, we shake hands, sign autographs. We talk with them. We have lunch with them. They show us what they do. We participate whatever they, if it's going to a shooting range and shooting with the special forces in Baghdad was one of my favorite things, and shooting all sorts of different weapons and stuff. And just hanging out, being guys. And to see, how everything operates in a war, and the bases and the procedures and protocol, and we have this and we do this. It's much more of a profound experience for me than it is them. I come home just blown away with the intelligence, the commitment, the selflessness of these individuals, that they're willing to fight for our freedom. And I can remember one of the bases I was in Afghanistan, and there was a Tim Horton
Huh.
And I was amazed to find out that in the middle of this desert out there was Tim Horton, and that had been brought in by Canadian government for the Canadian soldiers there. And then I found out that was right next to the hockey rink that had been jerry-rigged, and the guys get out there and play a version of roller skate hockey, not roller skate, but like street hockey, like, and shoot, they played their version of hockey without ice, whatever that is.
Road hockey is what we call it up here.
What do they call it?
We call it road hockey.
Yeah, so it's hockey, and they had like teams, and that was really insightful to see that the Canadians have soldiers there that are helping in the Middle East, and get to meet them and meet the Australians and the British and the French and all the troops from all over the world. And it's when it was first proposed to me that because of the popularity of the unit, that the guys, the gals in the military would like me to come over for a visit. I was thrilled, and I've been doing it since 2006, and I'm so proud of my participation with USO and the fact that other entertainers, actors, and musicians, they go over there and they give their time to be with the troops. And it's a real small thing for us to do when these people are willing to put their life on the line for you and I. USO is a great organization, and I have friends that are Vietnam vets that remind me that hey, I remember when I was in country, and Anne Margaret came to visit, and I got to hear, look at this picture I got with her from 1967 or whatever, in Vietnam, and then my buddies will tell me, you may not think it's much, but this is really going to brighten somebody's day over there.
Absolutely.
And just you being there, and it's kind of hard to fathom. I mean, who am I really? I'm just some guy that makes a living telling stories.
That's how you view it. You make a living telling stories. That's such an interesting way to put it. That's great.
Yeah, I'm just that's what I do, and but we just recently I'm involved with the Love Ride, which is a big motorcycle event here in California, and we just with George Thorogood and all the motorcycle enthusiasts in the area, we just raised $500,000 for the USO. So I'm constantly trying to figure out ways to do whatever I can to help USO and disabled vets in general.
Oh, I could go on for hours about your country's problem with veterans and when they come home, but I won't. Things need to be done, and it's nice to hear that you're helping out, because it doesn't seem the government is doing enough, unfortunately.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate where that's coming from.
I'll keep that out of the piece. Don't worry.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would be interested to hear what your country's view is of the way we handle our veterans, and
well, I just think it's sad. I hear a lot of them are suffering. I hear that they don't get the treatment they deserve.
I don't have a lot of comments about your country. I don't want to get into a whole nationalistic thing, but
we're the same way, though. We don't treat them properly either. No, I don't think many countries do. Once they've done their service, they're kind of forgotten, and it's a shame.
Okay, well then I don't know, that sort of struck me as I love my country, and my wife's Canadian, and I love Canada, and my children have dual citizenship. They can go back and forth.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love Canada. But I'm a very, very proud American, and I agree with you that veterans' issues are a very big deal, and they are overlooked. But we're doing what we can to try to help veterans, and that's what the USO is all about. It doesn't stop when the war's over.
Exactly.
Part of the thing with the USO is I go to Walter Reed, and Bethesda Memorial Day, I do a thing called Rolling Thunder, and I'm there with Vietnam vets, and we all go back, and the Vietnam vets and I, walk the hospital at Walter Reed and make sure these guys know how much we appreciate them, and to the Vietnam veterans, they tell me that, I wasn't welcome back after the Vietnam War, and that's a sore issue, but and rightfully so. I mean, if you go and put your life on the line for your country and you don't feel like you're welcomed home, that's not right.
No.
And that's one of the reasons I do a lot of the work for the POWs and the MIAs and the Vietnam vets. It's a big issue.
Mm-hmm. But we're here to talk about acting, so we close.
Telling stories, baby. Telling
stories. So I close out every interview with something called 5 questions, 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
I don't do those. I don't do those. No, I'll do it. I'm just.
Well, let's see how it plays itself out then.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm just.
Hitchcock or Kubrick?
Who are they? I don't know either one of them.
Lennon or McCartney?
I'm just. Hitchcock or Kubrick?
Well, it's a funny answer to print that, but okay, go ahead, answer it.
Yeah, but then that makes me look like an asshole. I don't want to do that. All right, Hitchcock.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
Your biggest influence as an actor?
Albert Finney.
Oh, good one. Role you're most proud of?
Max Kennard, Gangster Squad.
I heard that probably the closest that's ever come to you on film. That you've said that.
At least the way I envision myself.
All right, that makes more sense. Okay, there
you go.
And in 1 word, Robert Patrick.
American.